From Studio 87 in Houston, Texas, it's time once again for the STL Ocarina Podcast. And now, here's your host of the STL Ocarina Podcast, Charles Berman. Hello and welcome once again to the STL Ocarina Podcast for Thursday, January 18th, 2023. I'm your host, Charles Berman, product tester for STL Ocarina, and in this week's podcast, we talk about the upcoming events with the brand. We got a fun fact, you joke du jour, and a lot of fun stuff. And to kick this week's podcast off, we got a little segment we called Did You Know That? The ocarina is a wind instrument. It is a type of vessel flute, but variations exist. But a typical ocarina is an enclosed space with 4 to 12 finger holes and a mouthpiece that projects from the body. It is traditionally made from clay or ceramic, but other materials are used, such as plastic, metal, wood, glass, metal, or bone. Now you know. It's now time to go to the STL Ocarina Podcast Comedy Lounge for your joke du jour. A percussionist, tired from being ridiculed by other musicians, decides to change instruments. He walks into a music shop and says, "I'll take that red trumpet over there and that accordion." After a second, the shop assistant says, "Okay, you can have that fire extinguisher, but the radiator stays." Oh, come on! That was a good one. Don't go away, because coming up after this commercial break, it'll be time to go to your STL Ocarina Podcast Experts Corner for your helpful hit of the week. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more of the STL Ocarina Podcast right after this commercial break.
the world's largest ocarina. This massive piece is 38 inches long and weighs 28 pounds. The inside is completely hollow. I wonder how many gallons of water it can hold. Take a guess in the comments. This ocarina is made of ceramic and is one of only 2 models in existence. It has 9 tone holes, which are so large that you have to press down on these keys in order to change the pitch. Check that out. To play a note as low as C3, the chamber of the ocarina has to be this large. Pretty cool, huh? Like and follow for all things ocarina.
Welcome back to the STL Ocarina Podcast, and now it's time to go to your STL Ocarina Podcast Experts Corner for your helpful hand of the week. Use work, exercise, driving time for listening to your musical mentors. Use work, exercise, or driving time to enjoy listening to music which you can learn from. Ultimately, the music that you can carry in your head is what will flow from your instrument. And that was your STL Ocarina Podcast Experts Corner for a helpful hand of the week. Stay tuned, don't go away, because coming up after this commercial break, it'll be time to go to your STL Ocarina News. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more of the STL Ocarina Podcast right after this commercial break.
You should learn how to play a musical instrument. Here at STL Ocarina, we believe that music is for anywhere, anytime, and anyone. These are 5 reasons why you should pick up an instrument today. First of all, listening to music, or better yet, playing music, can stimulate your brain and increase its capacity for memory. On top of that, reading sheet music can increase your hand-eye coordination. I mean, think about it. You have to read these little notes on a page, and then your brain converts that information into specific motor patterns, rhythm patterns, sometimes incorporating breathing techniques, all while you're listening to what you're playing to make sure it sounds good. And all of these things have to work in tandem. Playing an instrument can really boost your reading and comprehension skills, especially when you expose yourself to increasingly more difficult pieces of music. And as you learn more difficult pieces of music, you might find that learning an instrument is pretty difficult, but that's okay. That's what makes it a great tool for learning self-discipline. It really takes a lot of discipline to go over the hardest parts again and again to get them just right. And last, and most important to me, and probably a lot of us, is that the more proficient you get with an instrument, the more you can play it the way you want to play it and what you want to play. And that leads to making it a great tool for self-expression. And when the self is expressed, stress levels go down. Who wouldn't love that? So that's why
Welcome back to the STL Ocarina Podcast, and now it's time once again for your STL Ocarina News. This past week, we shot some music videos. Last week, we went to Zion National Park to film some songs. And we have some exclusive behind-the-scenes look at some brand new music videos. Let's roll the footage. Wow! That's cool. Did you know that we have a newsletter? Here's how to subscribe to the STL Ocarina newsletter. And here's a quick demonstration video on how to subscribe to the STL Ocarina newsletter. If you visit the website www.stlocarina.com, you'll scroll all the way down until you see newsletter. Just type in your name and your email address and hit the old submit button to subscribe to the STL Ocarina newsletter. Subscribing to the STL Ocarina newsletter is so easy, even Link can do it. But before we have a coupon code for our viewers here. If you use the coupon code at checkout, Charles, you'll receive a whopping 20% off on all products. Visit our website, www.stlocarina.com. That's the coupon code at checkout, Charles. You'll receive a whopping 20% off on all products. Visit our website, www.stlocarina.com today. Don't go away, because coming up right after this commercial break, it'll be time to go to your STL Ocarina Podcast Hot 8 Best Sellers of the Week. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more of the STL Ocarina Podcast right after this commercial break.
Top 5 songs from Ocarina of Time, according to ChatGPT.
Welcome back to the STL Ocarina Podcast. As you can tell by that music, it's time to go once again to your Hot 8 Bestsellers of the Week. Number 8 this week goes to on our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. Number 8 this week is our 12-hole C major bass ocarina, the Harmony. The 12-hole C major bass ocarina, the Harmony, fine musical balance. Number 7 this week on our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. Number 7 this week goes to on our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. It is the 12-hole tenor ocarina, the Dragon. Descend from the night sky with its 12-hole tenor ocarina, the Dragon. Number 6 this week on our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. It is our from our Dungeons & Dragons series. It is the Ocarina of the Subtle Songs. It is the Dungeons & Dragons, the Rogue, Ocarina of Subtle Songs in C major tenor. That's from our Dungeons & Dragons series. Seize the enigma of music with the Dungeons & Dragons, Ocarina of Subtle Songs, C major tenor, the Rogue. At number 5 this week on our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. Number 5 this week goes to... It is the Element Ocarina, Water in C major tenor. From our Element Ocarina series, it is the Element Ocarina, Water in C major tenor. Stay hydrated with the Element Ocarina, Water in C major tenor. And don't go away, because coming up after this last commercial break, we'll be back with the conclusion of your Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown, plus your words of wisdom. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more of the STL Ocarina Podcast. Don't go away, we'll be right back with more of the STL Ocarina Podcast after this last commercial break. See you then.
Top 5 songs from Majora's Mask, according to ChatGPT.
Welcome back to the STL Ocarina Podcast. And now it's time for the conclusion of your Hot 8 Bestsellers of the Week. Number 4 this week in our Hot 8 Countdown. Number 4 this week goes to in our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. Number 4 this week goes to, it is the 12-hole Classic Zelda Tenor Ocarina C Major with Legend of Zelda Songbook. Perfect for the young Zelda fan, the 12-hole Classic Zelda Tenor Ocarina C Major with Legend of Zelda Songbook is for you. Number 3 this week in our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. Number 3 this week goes to, it is the 12-hole Tenor Ocarina, The Phoenix. Rise from the ashes with the 12-hole Tenor Ocarina, The Phoenix. Number 2 this week on our Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. Number 2 this week goes to, once again, one of our best-selling ocarinas of 2023. It is the 12-hole Zelda Wooden Tenor Ocarina, the Breath of the Wilderness, the Ocarina of Your Dreams, the 12-hole Zelda Wooden Tenor Ocarina. And finally, number 1 this week goes to, number 1 on the Hot 8 Bestsellers Countdown. Once again, our number 1 bestseller this week goes to, it is the 12-hole Tenor Ocarina with Legend of Zelda Songbook. For the true Zelda fans, this one is for you. And that was your Hot 8 Bestsellers of the Week. But before we go, we have some words of wisdom for you. You know, Pew Play Music have an artist license that says you can do anything. Hang on, we gotta go in for you this week. The more you play music, the easier it becomes. It's like anything else. When you practice, the more you play music, the easier it becomes. It's like anything else. When you first started tying your shoe, it probably didn't work out the first time. You had to practice it a few times. Now you can even do it without even looking. So about practice, it's about not giving up, keep moving forward no matter what. And looks like we're all out of time. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please check out our website, www.stlocarina.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and all of the major social media pages. Join us next week for more late-breaking news, upcoming events, and much more, right here on the STL Ocarina Podcast. This is Charles Berman, product tester for STL Ocarina, saying so long from the STL Ocarina Podcast. Keep practicing. We'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. For more information about our products, visit our website at www.stlocarina.com.